So before sending everything to Unreal, we need to properly name them. And I'm going to actually, there's a couple of things we need to do other than naming them. First, we need a joint for root. This is how Unreal works. So we call this root. We attaching the first joint to this one. I'm going to call it CTR. Okay, joint CTR 1. And this one joint CTR2, and this one joint CTR3. Now for this, I'm going to call them driven. I'm selecting the rename tab here, rename functionality here. I'm going to call them driven and actually rename. Okay, driven and yep, driven 1. Oh, there's a problem. Okay, 1 2 it should be here, so I'm reordering them. 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 4 driven. All right, now it's good. And for these guys, I'm going to call them second driven. That should be fine. And now I can export everything to Unreal. It's actually, there's a problem. We want our root joint to be in the 0 position. So I'm pressing X key, or I can simply just zero it out here. P for parenting, saving it, and exporting. And we're done. We're going to Unreal now. So now inside Unreal Engine, we are going to import the wing, and I'm going to import it, and I don't need physics assets, so I'm going to delete it, save this, and on a skeletal mesh, I'm going to right click, create, and in blueprint, I'm going to make a post processing and in blueprint. We have output nodes, we need input nodes, input node, input pose node. So I'm going to make one. Now I'm going to connect these joints. So I'm going to make a node called bone driven controller, and the source joint, which is the big one here, is joint actually here, this one, joint controller 3, and yep, 3. So we are going to select source bone as joint controller 3, and the target one is going to be driven joint, which are here, driven 1, driven 2, driven 3. So first let's fix driven 1. Source component, we select what is the source component. I mean, it's going to be all rotation, so we are going to select rotation. I know that some rotation has no change, but I'm going to select all the rotation because I want to keep it clean. So source component rotation X, and I'm going to select rotation X here, and destination target one is going to be driven 1 driven 1, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to just change it to rotation Y, and another duplicate and change it to rotation Z. So this is for driven 1. I'm going to connect them. Now I'm going to do the same thing for driven 2, so I'm going to make a duplicate. So the only thing that I'm going to change is the target bone, which is driven 2, and make another duplicate, and this time it's going to be driven 3. So I'm going to duplicate the whole thing again and apply it for the second driven. So this one is driven 1, it's going to be second driven 1. This one is going to be second driven 2. This one is going to be second driven 3. And we also have this little joint here, so let's make another one, and the name of the joint is second driven 4, I guess. It's joint 17. Anyway, I forgot to rename it. Let's make sure. Yeah, no, driven 4. It's driven 4, not second driven or joint. Okay. So it's driven 4. I'm going to select driven 4. Driven 3. Driven 4. Alright. Now it's ready. I'm going to replicate the values that I had in Maya. So I'm going to put this on. So I'm going to replicate whatever I have. So I'm going to replicate the values in Maya. So I'm going to have Maya here, and actually let's do this here, and the other one is Unreal Engine. Okay. It didn't work here, and I want Unreal Engine, right? Doesn't work. Okay, whatever. And here is my blueprint. So for the first one, here are the values. So rotation X is 0, Y is 115, and Z is 1. For the second joint, X is 0, Y is 0.8, and Z is 1, so I leave it as 1. For the third joint, so X again is 0, Y is 0.1, and Z is 1. So for the secondary joint, so X and Y are 0, 0, 0, and Z is 1.5. For this one, the next one, X is 0, Y is minus 0.1, and Z is 1.5. And for the next secondary joint, X is 0, Y is 0.2, and Z is 1.5. And for the last one, 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, and 2. Now, let's connect them. And connecting the last one, actually, let's put this here. To the output. And compile and save. Now let's make the control rig. Now I'm going to make the control rig for this one. Save it. So for making the control rig, I'm going to select the skeletal mesh and create control rig. And I'm going to select the controller joint and make a controller for it. New control. And I'm going to select second controller and make a new controller for it. And the third one. And one for root if necessary. So I'm going to change the shape of the root one, which is sphere. Now we make it to cycle, for example. I think it's okay now. Great. Now I'm going to connect, do the hierarchy. First of all, let's change the size of these and dragging 2 to 1, 3 to 2, and the whole thing to root. And by the way, there's an easy way you can do that, the same thing. I guess you can just select everything and right click and new and select add controller for the selection, and as you can see the same thing is happening here. So this is a shortcut. And now let's connect the controllers to the joints. I'm going to add a node called FK chain. I'm going to select all the joint by its order. Okay, drag it here and create item array and all the controller and create item array, connecting the bone to the bones and controller to controller and forward solver. Compile and save. Now we are going to open up skeleton or skeletal mesh. Select post process blueprint. This is a post process blueprint that we need to assign to it. We are going to type rig and assign the control rig we just made. Save it, and now it should work. I'm going to drag the wing, make a actually I already made one, but I'm going to make a new one, sequencer, and I'm going to drag the, we have two wings here, let's delete them, I'm not sure which one is the last one, so another one, drag the wing to the sequencer, and we have control rig, and let's test it, and it's working. As you can see, we have the wing the way that we set it up in Maya, and it's working as expected. But obviously the skin is not perfect. We need to have a good topology for skinning, but we managed to make the control rig for this skeleton. So that's about it. And by the way, this is a very simple procedure. It can be applied in any game engine with the simple programming. You just need to apply the constraint, which in Unreal we are doing it through animation blueprint. But in other game engine, you can do it programming with the scripts. You just connect the rotation and with a multiplier and just replicate everything from Maya. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this tutorial is useful.